ladies and gentlemen, to the MCDFNL Footy Show. We're back and we are absolutely raring to go. Finals time is here in the Bendigo Bank Maryborough Castlemaine District Football and Netball League. The 2016 McDonald's Final Series kicking off this weekend, and what a weekend it's going to be, of course. Busiest weekend of the final, Sammy, as we know. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Huge, huge weekend of footy. Sean Kelly's my name. Sam Gower is back joining me as always. Sammy, welcome back.
Thanks, mate. Missed last week, but back for finals time.
Yes, so we decided that we need to make sure that we're peaking at the right time of year. So here we are. Exactly right. Just had the rest and just that kind of rest that you need before finals taper off. The North Melbourne style rest where you just drop everyone before the finals and then come back in and go bang leading into the finals. Before we start talking footy though, we're going to talk about the major events happening in the MCDFNL, because now that the finals are here, it's definitely major events season, and it starts this Monday night at the Maryborough Harness Racing Club up in Carisbrook with the MCDFNL Junior Presentation Night, which is always a fantastic night. It's always great to get up on the stage and see 400 odd pairs of eyes staring back at you and getting all the votes in there. The kids love hearing their name read out, the boys and the girls for the netball, and of course announcing the League Best and Fairest Award winners in the junior age groups for the year. Yeah,
absolutely. A chance to have a look at some of the league's top junior talent that will no doubt be at senior level in years to come.
Yeah, and that's shown obviously. You look at the last under 7.5 Best and Fairest, Geordie Bucks from Talbot last year. You had Cal Wellings from Trentham before that as well, who's playing TAC Cup footy at the moment and going to the state combine after the season's finished. So there's definitely some talented youngsters coming through the ranks, and hopefully the next Cal Wellings isn't too far away from coming through. Speaking of Trentham, what a week it has been for the Trentham Footy Club. Needed to basically throw a bit of a Hail Mary to get into the finals, knock over Lexton. Not only did they do it, they ended up doing it quite convincingly. 55 points in the end. Old Trentham Town was rocking last Saturday night, because when that siren sounded, they were in 8th spot and in their first finals appearance in about 4 years.
Certainly is. I think their first finals appearance since 2012, maybe. But yeah, saw off Denali as well. Denali got the win. They might have thought they had a chance for the finals, but the Saints, like you said, very impressive against Lexton. Yeah,
Denali couldn't really take a trick. Did what they had to do against Avoca, got the win, came back after half time and put the nose to the grindstone a little bit. But Trentham, full credit to them, and Clayton Scoble obviously set this task at the start of the season when we spoke to him for our season preview series. They've ticked that box. And as we'll speak about later on, I reckon they could make life pretty difficult for Talbot this week.
Yeah, it should be a really, really interesting clash, that one. Trentham obviously finding a bit of form towards the end of the season, rubbing our faces in it after we said they were no chance.
We said they were gone, didn't they? So we're going to turn around and I'm going to say on behalf of you, we apologise to the Trentham Football Netball Club, because yes, we did say you were gone. Yes, you've proved us wrong. Yes, you've made us look silly. Full apologies and full credit where it's due.
Yeah, we'll see how silly they can make us look come Sunday.
Exactly right, and it could very much be the case that we are made to look silly once again, because that will be a great game against Talbot, which we'll talk about very, very shortly. Before we do, talking point number 3, the goal kicking award has obviously been decided in the MCDFNL. It came down to the wire. There's only 3 goals separating first and second, Sammy, but in the end, it's big Josh Brown from Royal Park taking out the title. 76 goals this season. Couldn't get a gig in the interleague side, but wins the goal kicking with 76 goals. 3 ahead of Cody Driscoll, it was, from Navarre, with 73.
Yeah, Cody probably thought he was a chance after he kicked 5 on the weekend, but big Josh Brown kicked 9 for the Tigers against Rovers to get the title. Luke Tracy coming in 3rd.
Yes, big nose. 49 goals for the year. He's done very nicely.
And then Ash Driscoll and Corey Taylor from Carisbrook rounding out the top 5.
Both on 46 as well. And then I think a couple after that, Matty Brown from Lexington, 45. And it was pretty close for the rest of the top 10 positions after that. But well done to Josh Brown from Royal Park, our leading goal kicker for season 2016. Perfect segue as we move into looking at this week's finals. Week 1 in the MCDFNL Final Series. The McDonald's Final Series, of course, for 2016. We thank the support of McDonald's Maryborough for their help with the Final Series this year. And it starts with the Royal Park Footy Club at Princess Park on Saturday afternoon. We'll run through the tail of the tape for you with all of the games being played at Princess Park from a footy perspective. The under 11.5 is Royal Park versus Campbell's Creek. The under 14.5 is Lexington versus Campbell's Creek. The under 17.5 is Trentham versus Natty Bialaba. The reserves is Royal Park and Newstead. And then the senior game at 2:35 p.m. at Royal Park taking on Carisbrook. Only a fortnight ago, these two teams met, and it was at Carisbrook giving Royal Park their first loss for the season. Can they repeat the dose this week?
I don't think so. I'm actually going to back the Tigers to
Really?
bounce back against the Redbacks here. I just think they will have had a look at Carisbrook, seen what they need to do to beat them, and I think they'll get the job done on Saturday.
It's an interesting one because I'm of the same boat. I think that AJ Beecham would have taken a look at that game, obviously, learnt some things about Carisbrook that day, put them to memory, put it down as a bad day for his club. But on the other hand, Carisbrook will be confident. Carisbrook have been in this situation before. We know that in previous years they've won this game where they hadn't been favoured to. I think it was Lexington that they beat in the last couple of years where they weren't favoured to win this qualifying final, to get through to a preliminary final. They know that they've beaten them before. They know that they're very, very potent up forward as well. And this will be a great game of footy. I think Royal Park, based on their home and away season, but it would not surprise me to also see Carisbrook win. I think there's only going to be a couple of goals in this one. And obviously, if you can't make it, and I'll be at the other ground, I'll be at Hedges Oval on the day, and I'll be watching the live scores for what's happening here. Don't you worry about that, because live scores for all senior games this week. So keep an eye on the MCDFNL website on the fixtures and results section. We'll have live scores all throughout the weekend from all of the senior football games. And I'll definitely be glued to this one to see what's going on.
There should be a bit of a shootout this one, I think. Obviously, like we said, Josh Brown taking out the goal kicking. He's backed up by Murray Bond, Adam McLean, Jacob Cahill up forward for Royal Park, been doing some very nice work in front of goals. But then down the other end, you've got Luke Tracy, who you said came third.
The nose.
Corey Taylor, who was in the top 5. Jaden Hind, Jackson Bowen, so plenty of goal kickers.
Jackson Bowen's not a goal kicker.
Oh, he might kick a goal.
He'll tell you he's a goal kicker, and you're forgetting one.
Who?
Nath.
Oh, big Nath.
That goes without saying. You cannot list Carisbrook goal kickers and not mention Nath, because he will snot you.
Well, that's how well they're going. I've just forgotten him.
Exactly right. It's a good, I suppose, it's a situation to be in, because he's the type of player that could end up getting a third defender or something like that now during the finals and absolutely tearing in a new one.
Yeah, so Carisbrook, like we said, very dangerous up forward.
They are indeed going to be a great game to watch, as it will be at Hedges Oval on Saturday as well, the second qualifying final. I'll be at this one, so very much looking forward to seeing what happens at Hedges Oval. In the following fixtures, the under 11.5s, it's Avoca taking on Carisbrook. The under 14.5s is Trentham taking on Carisbrook. The under 17.5s is Newstead taking on Carisbrook. The reserves is Lexington taking on Carisbrook. And thankfully, by the senior game, when I'll be sick of Carisbrook, there'll be no Carisbrook there. It'll be Navarre taking on Natty Bialaba. First time Navarre's seen Hedges Oval in quite a while in a finals game as well. So I think the last time they were on Hedges Oval was the day that Newstead bowled them over. So could be quite interesting here. Natty will back themselves in. They always tend to give Navarre a run in the finals.
Yeah, they do. Looking back to the game they played earlier this year, only the one game, I think, between the two sides on a Sunday. Drew a massive crowd. It was a great game of footy. Natty led at every change. Up until the last quarter, where I think Ash Driscoll's just slotted 3 late goals to get Navarre over the line by only 11 points.
Scared the bejesus out of the Natty defenders.
Like you said, always a great game between these two clubs. I'm sure Saturday will be no different.
Now, we know which way you're going to go, because obviously your heart bleeds red and white, so you're going to tip Natty in this one, but give us a little bit of a summation of why Natty Bialaba can win this game, please.
I just think they've added maybe a couple of cogs to the midfield to go up against those bigger bodies of Navarre. Obviously, Daniel Vidala has been great for Natty in the middle this year, just clearing a bit of space for the likes of Jared Bates and Stephen Ross, Daniel Gifford, and just letting them focus on delivering to their forwards. Yep,
and of course they've got, as you said, some big names are going to come up against Daniel Parkin, and he always will be when it comes to finals, and just a star-studded Navarre team. How are they going to stop Cody Driscoll? How are they going to stop Ash Driscoll up forward? And then someone like Riley Bibby, who can also play in a key forward role, kind of chiming in and kicking his goals as well.
Well, last time these two sides played, Cody Driscoll actually only kicked 1 goal. Chris Jardine did a great job on him, so I'm sure that matchup will happen again. Jack Kennedy did a good job on Ash Driscoll up until the last quarter. I'm sure he'll be keen to make amends for that.
You're tipping Natty?
I am.
I'm tipping Navarre. On the whole, you can't tip against Navarre rule, especially when it comes to finals, because they have not lost one since in about the last 2.5 years. I think obviously that eliminated their qualifying final in 2013 against Newstead. Had not missed a beat since there for 50 games after that, so it's hard to tip against them. And obviously, Hedges Oval a little bit foreign for them, but I'm thinking that with that big ground will actually suit their running game as well.
Yeah, it does. Probably similar to their home ground as well. They've got plenty of space to move up there.
And then on Sunday, elimination final day throughout the MCDFNL. Again, 2 venues. Again, Princess Park and Hedges Oval. Royal Park, I was going to say. Princess Park and Royal Park, but no, Hedges Oval. In the news, it's going to be the second elimination final at Hedges Oval. The first elimination final at Princes Park we'll start with, though. The under 11.5s is Lexington v Malden. The under 14.5s is Royal Park and Newstead. Under 17.5s is Navarre taking on Avoca. The reserves is Talbot taking on Denali. And then the senior game, Talbot taking on Trentham. We've alluded to this a little bit, that I think this is going to be one of the games of the finals. Obviously, Trentham really starting to hit their straps in the last couple of weeks and some very, very impressive wins. Talbot have not done much wrong at all this year, though. I think their only failing is beating sides above them on the ladder. The sides below them, they've been very, very good against. Talbot, traditionally, a very good team in the first half of a final as well, but in the last couple of years, they've tended to fall away after half-time. Trentham will have noted that. Obviously, they'll be looking at their form during the year. It's a completely different Talbot team that they'll play. Both teams will go in fairly confident, I think.
They will. I'm actually going to back the Hawks in this one. I think the work Matt Smith and Dallas Byers have done probably over the last 2 seasons while they've been in charge, just redevelop that Hawks list. They don't have a heap of star players, but just role players, I think, who'll get the Hawks over the line. But like you said, Trentham haven't done much wrong the last few weeks. Going
down the same route, tipping Talbot, but I think this is going to be a pretty good game of footy. I don't think much is going to separate them. It would not surprise me at all to see Trentham ahead early in the game and really giving Talbot a scare as well before Talbot. As I said, they haven't been good in the last half of finals in the last couple of years, but it's a completely different game this year, completely different team. I reckon they'll be able to get the job done. Then at Hedges Oval on Sunday, second elimination final day. And don't forget, live scores running on Sunday all throughout the day as well. The under 11.5s, Maryborough Rovers and Trentham. The under 14.5s is Maryborough Rovers and Avoca. The under 17.5s is Maryborough Rovers versus Campbell's Creek. The reserves, Navarre taking on Natty Bialaba, and the seniors, Newstead taking on Lexington. This is an interesting game. Lexington would probably have thought that they would have been the home team in this game. Instead, they've fallen to 7th. They got touched up last week by Trentham. They're probably coming in a little bit vulnerable, whereas Newstead coming in with a bit of form.
Yeah, it should be a really, really interesting matchup, this one. Lexington, obviously, probably the last few seasons, or since they came into the league in 2011, traditionally been in one of those top 4 spots, so it'll be interesting to see.
I think this is their first elimination final since the LPFL disbanded.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that added pressure of an elimination final. I'm going to back them in. I think Newstead's just been a little bit too patchy this year. Lexington will be keen to bounce back from that loss.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't know whether that loss was an aberration or an indication last week for Lexington. That's the only problem, because if they play to what they did last week, I think Newstead can get them.
Yeah, they're 2 sides that have probably been really, really up and down this year. When they're good, but when they're bad, they're bad. So it'll be probably depend on which side shows up.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And I'm actually going to tip Newstead in this one. I just think that they've been going very well. Even if the ladder positions were flipped in this one, I think I still would have tipped Newstead, because I like how they're structured. They've got a lot of goal-kicking power. Obviously, we know Adrian Conn can kick goals. Tommy Rees was in the top few, kicked 35 goals or something like that for the year as well. Obviously, Michael Dalrymple's been in good form throughout the year as well, backing off a Barry Powell year. They've got some winners across the ground. And so of Lexington, I just feel that Newstead might be that touch more dangerous this week. And I've just got a feeling it's going to propel them into the second week of a final series.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Newstead win, especially after what you just said there, but I'm going to stick with the Tigers.
As always, some fantastic matches coming up in the first week of the MCDFNL final series this year. Of course, if you see us around the grounds during the weekend, come up and say g'day, give us some feedback on how we've been going throughout the year. Be nice on Sammy, because he's a little bit fragile, so he doesn't like it when you hit him too hard. Apparently he got hit the other week by a Royal Park supporter asking him why he didn't tip Royal Park against Carisbrook, and Royal Park actually lost that game, so he was kind of justified, but still, he got a bit teary about it. He was telling me before through a veil of tears, so just leave him alone if you see him. I've got big shoulders, so you can just heap it on me if you like.
Big target.
Big target, don't you worry about that. We will see you again next week, though. It's going to be a huge week, as we said, in the finals this week. 8 teams enter, 6 teams will leave. 2 of them will go to Mad Monday this week and enjoy the end of a season. Sammy, look forward to doing it all again next week with you and discussing the second week of the finals and obviously what transpires from this week.
It should be a really, really interesting weekend.
Should be indeed. Look forward to seeing you at the footy at Princes Park and Hedges Oval this weekend. And of course the netball. Don't forget to watch the MCDFNL netball show for everything that's happening with the netball stakes this week in the MCDFNL. We'll see you next week.